welcome to the Hero Award. My name's Emily, and this is Ellie, and this is Lulu, and we are going to be helping you learn all about first aid. Now, some of you might have done first aid before. Maybe you've done one of our courses, but if you haven't, please don't worry. We are going to be here together to help you learn about how to save someone's life, whether it's at home, whether it's in the school playground, or maybe out and about as you're in the play park or doing the supermarket shopping with your parents and carers. Now, during this course, we want you to be able to take part. So you can watch this video and join in, or you can watch the video and join in afterwards. There's also going to be some worksheets for you to be able to complete. And every time you've done one lesson, one video, you'll be awarded the Hero Award certificate for that lesson. So today we're going to learn about what first aid is, what to do in an emergency to help that casualty. We're going to learn about what is in a first aid kit and also how to call 999. Lots we're going to learn. So what does first aid mean to you, Ellie? Do you know what first aid means? You do? Of course you do, because Ellie is a trainee first aider, so she has a little bit of experience about first aid. Well, first aid, Ellie, I'm going to tell them because she can't talk. So I will tell you, first aid means you are the first person that's helping your friend, your family, somebody in the local community who's maybe become ill or injured. Now, Ellie and I have both had first aid administered to us because we do silly things. We're a bit clumsy. Have you had first aid administered to you before? Maybe you can tell the partner next to you or your family members if you've had first aid administered to you before. Shall I tell them what you've had? Well, Ellie's got a big nose, so Ellie's had an ouchie on her nose before, haven't you? Yeah, an ouchie, a small little cut on her nose. And I've had a bruise on my arm. I bashed my arm against something, so I got a bruise on my arm. But do you know what we'll do if we got an ouch on your nose, Ellie? What does someone do for you when you had an ouchie? They put a plaster on it. And for my bruise, someone gave me an ice pack. Now, those are small little accidents, aren't they? But sometimes it might be an emergency situation we have to deal with. For example, one of my friends was eating some nuts and they were allergic to it. Allergic meaning they had some sort of reaction, which meant they couldn't breathe properly, Ellie. I know. But we all stayed nice and calm and we managed to get help to them. And that's what we're going to be able to teach you today, because you are going to learn about first aid and we need to make sure that you stay nice and calm in order to be able to help our friends, our family and our loved ones and also anybody else in our local community, aren't we? So when you've had first aid administered to you, somebody would have helped you, but they would have a very special toolbox. Let's have a look down here, Ellie. They might have one of these. What's that called? Have a look. Yeah, I know you have a look. It's called a first aid kit. So inside here, there'll be lots of things that can help somebody if they have an injury or an illness. Yes, she said there's plasters. That's where they got the plaster for her ouchie. But there might be bandages and scissors and gloves. Very important to put gloves on. What else might there be? Maybe you can have a think. Maybe you can go and see if your parents and carers have got a first aid kit at home. Or maybe you can go and ask one of your teachers if you're at school what is in their first aid kit. And we must know where their first aid kits are because we should have them where they're easily accessible. That means we can get to them very quickly if there is an accident. So can you find out where your one is in your classroom? And do you know where it is at home as well? Do have a look, won't we, Ellie? Yeah. We know where ours are, don't we? Yeah, because at home, where's ours? Ours is upstairs in our bathroom. That's where we keep ours. And then we have another one in the car. And that's the one I've just bought from the car, isn't it, Ellie? So this is the one that I would keep inside my car. No, you don't drive. It's for me when I'm driving along, just in case we see anything when we're out and about. Now, we've talked about an emergency and an accident because they can be two different things. Because an accident could be a small little ouchie. You know, you get a small paper cut maybe. That's an accident. Whereas an emergency, well, it's going to be we need to act very quickly. So an emergency could be if I was climbing that tree, Ellie, and I fell down and I couldn't move. Well, that's going to be not only an accident, but also an emergency. Now, sometimes when you're doing first aid, you can feel very nervous. I know you got a bit nervous, didn't you? And that's okay, but we're going to try and give you some tips just to help you overcome some of those nerves. So stay calm, stay safe, talk to the casualty. Remember, casualty means the person that's not feeling very well. So talk to them and make sure you get help for them. Can you remember that? We're going to stay calm, we're going to stay safe, we're going to keep talking to the casualty, and we're going to get help as soon as possible so someone else can come and help us. Even though we're the first person, there can be someone else that's coming to help. Isn't that? Okay, so we talked about what first aid is. Let's talk about it outside now. So maybe you could be at the beach, the seaside. Maybe you could be just walking to school or in the playground after school or in your home. Remember we said we have to stay safe. Who is the most important person, Ellie? It is you. Okay, so you and you, all of us. Yeah, we've got to make sure we are safe when we are being first aiders. Because if we are not safe, we can't help anybody, can we? So we have to always make sure it is safe for us. So if we walked into this room, we're going to be checking the area for danger. We're going to be looking up, we're looking down, we're looking around. We'll be making sure there's no funny smells around. And what kind of things we'll be looking for, Ellie? Well done. Ellie says we'll be looking for maybe fire. Can you think of any ideas of what we might be looking for? Yeah. Oh, yeah, she got another one. Oh, good, yeah. So it could be other people can sometimes get in the way. Yeah, other people. So sometimes you might have to ask other people to move out of the way nicely and politely so you can help somebody. And if it was too dangerous, you wouldn't. So other people could be something that's not very safe. What else? Yeah, we need to make sure that there's no water around. We need to look up, making sure there's nothing falling down. We need to look down to make sure there's nothing we can trip over. We also need to listen, Ellie, with these big ears. Look at the size of Ellie's ears. We need to also listen because if it's on a busy road and we notice someone's had an accident, we need to make sure there's no other cars or anyone else that's going to come and hurt us as well. So we need to listen. We need to smell with your big nose. But you're quite good at looking for dangers because you can hear things, you can smell things, we can see things. So we're going to look, we're going to hear, and we're going to smell. Now remember, we said it can be quite upsetting when you come across somebody that's not very well. So we're going to try and stay nice and calm, staying safe, and we're going to talk to the casualty. We're going to talk to them, aren't we? Because talking is very important. And talking to them can help us feel a little bit more reassured. So remember what we said, we need to always stay safe. And even though we can see maybe one of our friends over here is injured, we don't go running up to them to go and help. We must make sure we are safe first, Ellie. We are important first. So we're looking up, we're looking around to see any dangers. Can you see any dangers? Ellie says Lulu's on the floor. Yes, Lulu could be a danger because we might trip over her. Also, I can see, look, there's a wire here we can trip over, Ellie. So we must make sure we make it safe. Now we can move this out of the way to make it safe for us. But what would you do, Ellie, if there was a big fire here? Well done. Yes, we would leave. If there was a fire in this room, we would leave and make sure we get help coming quite quickly. What would you do, Ellie, then, if there's some scary people here that maybe hurt our friend? Well done. Yes, we would leave then as well. So always make sure we're making it safe. And if it's not safe for you, please go the opposite direction. It has to be safe. So Ellie, we're going to approach our friend very carefully, making sure we don't trip over Lulu. And then we're going to talk to them because talking to them is the most important thing. Now, if they're sitting down, I'm going to get down to their level. I don't want to be standing over the top of them, Ellie, like this. So we're going to go and sit down next to them. And then now we are safe, everything's safe, we're going to talk to her, aren't we? Yes, we are. We're going to talk to her to find out what's happened. So talk to them, Ellie, please. Oh, what did she say? Oh, okay. She says she's gone and hurt herself. Where did she hurt herself? On her head. So she's gone and banged her head. Well, that's not good, is it? That's a silly little accident. I do that all the time. And you bang your head as well, don't you? So if they bang their head, we're going to keep talking to them. We're going to not touch them. Because by touching somebody, you could hurt them. And we don't want to do that, do we? No. So we're going to keep talking to them to find out some more information. You know, how did they do it? And also, when did they do it? Because time is also important. Just because I found and now, that doesn't mean that the accident happened now. It could mean the accident happened a long time ago. You know, about an hour or two ago. It all depends, doesn't it? So we're going to talk and find out more information. Now this will become an emergency, Ellie. It'll become an emergency if Anne would stop talking to me. Then do you know what we're going to do then? No? Well, I will tell you. We will then go on phone 999. Ellie says there is another number. There is. Do you know what other number you can call an emergency? It is, go on, anyone? 112. So both of these are emergency numbers. And these will be the numbers you would call if Anne wasn't talking to you. Or if she was talking to you, then she stopped. Can you think of any other times when you would call it an emergency? When else you would want to call 999 or 112? Do you know? Can you think of any more? Yes, that's true. Yep, so maybe if they'd broken their leg, that's an emergency. Or maybe, well done, yeah, if they fell off their bike and they couldn't move, that's an emergency, isn't it? So there's lots of different situations that could be an emergency where we must call 999 or 112. Now, when you call these numbers, they will ask you for what service they require. Now, there's 3 different services. So there's the fire, the police, but in this case, we're going to be asking for the ambulance. Okay, the ambulance. We're asking for the ambulance because this is a first aid situation. So we need the ambulance who are going to come and help us, aren't they, Ellie? They are. Then you need to tell them where you live. Now, how would you know where you live? Do you know what your address is? Ellie doesn't know her address. Okay, and Anne's not talking to us now. So if you don't know your address, do try and find out where it is you are. You know, don't give them your home address if you're not at home, but try and find out when you need the ambulance, you need to know where you're asking the ambulance to come to. Well, how can we find out our address, Ellie? Well, how can you find? I know where I live, but you don't, so how can you find out? Yes, so she said you could look at some letters maybe. If you're at home, you could look at some letters that are maybe left on the side that might have an address in. That's a good idea, I like that idea. Or, yes, she could open the front door if it was safe to do so and you're at home, and you could look for a street sign or maybe a building, like a landmark building. Maybe you live near a church or a school. Or maybe, if you're at school, you can ask somebody. But try and find out where you are. Now, for the older ones amongst you, you might have a smartphone. And there's this app on a smartphone called What 3 Words. You know, it is called that. Ellie said, what 3 words? I went, no, that's what the app's called. The app is called What 3 Words. And on that app, it will give you 3 words for where you are right now in the whole wide world. And you can give those 3 special words to the ambulance and they can come and help you, Ellie. They can. So let's just recap all that, shall we? So we've got Anne here, who's just acting, who's not feeling very well. But we don't just go running in there. We look around, making sure it's safe. Lou's out the way. We've moved the heater out the way. So now we're going to start talking to them. We're going to go, Anne, are you okay? Remember, we're not going to touch them because we might hurt them even more. So, Anne, can you tell us what's wrong? So she said that she's banged her head. So that's okay. So we're going to go and get... Oh, she wants to go and get an ice pack, which is perfect. That's what we get for someone that's maybe hurt their head. And give them an ice pack. But if she stops talking to us, we're going to now go and we're going to phone 999 or 112 because we need what service? What service is it? The ambulance. Yes, we need the ambulance to come to us. And hopefully we know where we live or where we are when we need an ambulance. And if we don't, we're going to look maybe outside the door to see if we can find some street signs or a landmark such as a big building, a school, a church, a leisure centre maybe, train station, so we could give the ambulance an idea of where we are. Or if it was safe to do so, we could ask somebody. Or if we're very lucky and we had a smartphone, Ellie, we could look at that app. What's the app called? What 3 words? And those 3 words you find from that app will tell the ambulance exactly where you are so they can get you. Now, after you've helped somebody, you might feel really happy and proud of yourself, but also you might feel upset and sad. All these feelings are perfectly normal. But always talk to an adult and they will be able to help you and put your mind at rest. Because what you've done is fantastic. You've helped somebody. As a first aider, you would have helped somebody who had an injury or an illness, and you've got the emergency services to come and take over from you. Because you are the first person on that scene, and now you've got more help to come and help Anne. And when the emergency services come and help Anne, they will then take them to hospital where hopefully she can make a full recovery. Isn't that right, Ellie? Yeah. Now, well done. That is Hero Award number 1. Now, you have a worksheet to go and complete, so go and complete that and get your certificate. And we look forward to seeing you on Hero Award number 2. Thanks so much for listening, guys. Take care. Go on, Anne, you can wave now. Bye.